Hello, everyone, and welcome to IVMF and AARP webinar. And today, our webinar is on revisiting your small business brand. This is one of three-part series webinars titled Entrepreneurship in a New Environment, hosted by IVMF and AARP. My name is Elvis Abdic, and I am Post-Program Support Service Advisor here at IVMF with an alumni department. I assist IVMF program graduates with resources and connections as they start and grow their business ventures or careers. The IVMF at Syracuse University is higher education's first interdisciplinary academic institute, singularly focused on advancing the lives of the nation's military veterans and their families. ARP's Small Business Initiative focuses on helping Americans 50 and over, offering information and educational resources that assist persons interested in starting a small business, as well as help current small business owners sustain and grow their business. IVMF and ARP have teamed up to host this three-part webinar series designed to help veterans and military-connected business owners understand how to stay afloat during this difficult time. This series will cover the importance of marketing, branding, and securing government contracts. Moderating our webinar today is Felicia Brown, Senior Advisor who leads the Small Business Initiative at ARP. Felicia, welcome.
Great. Thank you, Elvis, for that warm introduction. And welcome to everyone here today. So, AARP is really excited about working with IVMF for our second year. And today and last week, we kicked off another entrepreneurship series hosted bi monthly. And we're discussing topics that range from marketing to securing contracts. At the conclusion of these webinars, we really hope that you leave with valuable information that helps your business thrive and succeed, even during these difficult times. You can sign up for the entire series at the Institute for Veteran and Military Families website for more information about the series. So, today we are talking to branding experts and business owners who will discuss the importance of having a strong brand, the need to rebrand, pivot isn't if necessary, how to really convey your brand to your customers, and how to deepen your brand with your customers to stay in business, particularly during these tough times. They're going to answer some questions such as, what does your brand say about your business? How do you use your brand to stand apart from your competitors? And so this webinar will help you understand the difference between marketing and branding. And there is a difference. How they work together, and how might this be a good time to revisit your brand as you move your business into this new digital space. So before we get started, I want you to know that this event is interactive. You can participate by asking questions. If you have a question, please place your question in the chat box. We'll try to answer as many of your questions as possible. For those of you who submitted your questions in advance, thank you. To learn more about IVMF's programs, email IVMF alumni at syr.edu. Again, that's IVMF alumni at syr.edu. And to learn more about AARP small business resources, simply visit aarp.org/start a business. So let's get into it. It's no secret that COVID-19 has really disrupted the way many small businesses now operate. For many of us, the need to pivot was abrupt and really didn't allow for us to effectively plan. For some businesses, it really required them to think differently and act differently to sustain and gain a new customer base. So today, I'm delighted to have with us three experts. We have Sharon Washington. She is the founder and CEO of the P3 Solution. It is a full service marketing and communications agency that specializes in providing easy marketing strategies, messaging, design, and social media solutions for your business. She's a sought after international speaker, trainer, facilitator, professor, and author of Market Simple, the blueprint to a one-page marketing plan, and the oops moment, eliminating marketing mistakes, mishaps, and missteps instructional guides on how businesses can quickly create and easily execute a one-page marketing plan and eliminate all their marketing mistakes. We also have with us today is Shondale Newsom. He is the founder and visionary of Smooну Marketing in Henderson, Nevada. And I'm sorry, I wanted to say that Sharon is located in the Washington, D.C. area. Sumu Marketing is in Henderson, Nevada. It is a marketing firm that works with small businesses to create marketing campaigns to help small businesses promote their business and products. And lastly, we have Monica Arado, an Air Force veteran and owner of Bread and Butter Kitchen, located in Annapolis, Maryland. After having tirelessly for 20 years in technology, Monica left her 22-year career in 2016 to start Bread and Butter Kitchen with the vision of sharing her passion for making amazing food that celebrates local ingredients. Monica is also the co-founder of Feed and Rundle and has a blog where she shares her recipes and interviews local farmers and vendors in the Annapolis area. So welcome to all of our experts and presenters today, and thank you for joining us. So let's kick off this conversation with Sharon. Sharon,
Hi, Felicia.
hi Sharon. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's just really start from ground zero. Branding is a critical aspect for business growth and sustainability. Talk to us about what is branding and what it is not, and
Great.
the difference between marketing and branding, and why branding matters, and how do these all kind of work together. I know that was a mouthful, but let's break this down for people.
So I like this question because everyone, even experts, get branding, marketing, sales, and PR kind of mixed up in this hodgepodge of kind of the same thing. And in actuality, they're very different functions that work well in tandem with one another. So branding is not just a logo. And it's not just messaging, right? It is more of what I like to call creating your position. So if we think about larger companies, if we think about AARP, that red, you use a particular red, right? IMVF, I hope IVMF, yes, there we go. You use particular colors to actually identify your positioning in the marketplace. And so what branding does is it actually creates your positioning. So it's coupled with what the logo looks like, what your color looks like, what the fonts look like. But most importantly, I think the aspect, especially when we talk about small businesses beginning to start, we put more emphasis on that branding visual piece than you do with regards to your messaging. The first thing that this is a hack, like out of the box, I like to give out a hack. The first thing any small business should know, whether you are in the business a day or you've been in the business thousands of days, you need to know what you offer. Not how you do it, not who you do it for, but what you actually offer as a problem solution in order for you to actually build in messaging. So the difference between branding and marketing is that branding creates position, marketing promotes that position. So you need branding to then have the second tier step to then market. But the issue is we want to market before we actually get solidify our branding.
Great. Thank you. And hopefully people were clear about the two things and how they work together. So, Sharon, in this this small business space, we hear a lot about people need a marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need a branding strategy as well? And kind of help us explain like how people do that.
Yes. So you do need a branding. You need to understand your brand. So yes, you need to build out a plan on what that looks like. And I mean, But depending on your product or service that you offer, you may offer different services. So the brand may alter a little bit depending on services. I like Adidas. I use Adidas all the time because Adidas has these different brands. It has regular Adidas and original Adidas and running Adidas, but it goes back to building positioning for the entire Adidas brand. However, what people need to do with regards to kind of building their brand and creating the strategy is first understanding what that brand does. So absolutely you should have a plan, or at the very least understand what problem singular that you solve in the marketplace.
Mm, great advice. So, Sharon, I know that you're a communications expert, and for businesses really just getting started, and businesses who have been impacted by this pandemic, how do you build an authentic brand
Yeah.
that really can survive um, these tough, challenging times? Because the reality is, fast forward, we're going to have some more challenging times.
Yes.
And so, how do you communicate that to your customers?
Mindset. Get your mind right. So I've been in business 14 years. And although this is not a regular run of the mill, but this is what entrepreneurship is about.
Mm,
Lows and highs
mhm.
all the time. So you have to get your mind together and figure out how to pivot. So this is a good exercise. Change your mindset to the perspective of half full. I'm an optimistic person. I'm more in the half full space. What can I offer in the marketplace today? What do I have today? Because things are going to change, right? Things are going to change again and then again and then again. We're going to continuously see changes. So what you want to know, how you want to build your authentic brand is what service are you providing for people, service and or product to people today? And I often talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And at the bottom of that, it's very basic needs. So right now, consumers, doesn't matter, large companies, small companies, they need to figure out basic needs like physical needs. So people are worried about how they're eating, how they're going to pay for things, are they feeling safe, things like that. Find out what products and service you have to be able to position yourself to build a brand so that you can offer those kind of basic needs. So I'll give you, my clients are like, but I don't have that type of stuff. But you do. I'm a marketer, right? And
Mhm.
so what I'm selling is information, or what I'm marketing, what I'm branding is that I'm providing information so that you can feel safe in your business. So you can build your businesses so that you become financially secure, or you feel very secure in your mind that you want to keep this business going. So we have to really start thinking outside of the box and not so linear of how we can pivot, regardless whether you're selling shoestrings to croissants.
Mm.
People want and need what you have, and it starts with your mindset.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. And
You're welcome.
so we're going to come back to you later. We're going to get Shondell and Monica in this
Awesome.
conversation
Thank you.
because this is really great. So Shondell, let's just talk with you about, Sharon has really set us up to provide the foundation around branding, the difference between the marketing and branding, and how people kind of stay the course. We want to talk to you about how this relates to veterans more specifically in the nuances of marketing for branding a veteran business. So talk to us about um, how
Well,
branding is about building a culture and people's experiences with your business. Talk to us about that, what that means.
yes. Let me say first that Sharon did an awesome job as a person. Like just like LeBron James picked up a basketball, I picked up branding in high school. So high school, I went to the High School of Graphic Communication Arts and in Manhattan, New York, right down the street from Rockefeller Center. And one of the things that I did is I studied branding because I saw all these signs, and I was always enamored by how do all of these brands compete in the same space. It is
Mm.
truly amazing to me. So, Sharon, you did an awesome job of setting that table. And I was saying a lot of amens. That's why I was on mute. But I want to tell you that one thing about veterans, they have to understand this because I teach Boots to Business, an SBA program. Once a quarter, I go out to the base and I talk to military members about transitioning into entrepreneurship. One of the things that they need to understand, something that Sharon tapped into, they have to understand their own DNA. They have to understand that they have been taught to be vision focused, mission focused, and they've been taught a discipline that most people don't get, right? And so I tell veteran owned business owners that don't lose what you did in the military. The military is a great training ground for you to become an entrepreneur. Most people that transition into entrepreneurship don't lose that brand. That brand is, I mean, you can mobilize 10,000 people in a matter of hours. You can do incredible things like create stealth technology, drone technology. There's so many incredible things. And if your mind can evolve to that space, just like Sharon mentioned, you can overcome anything. My father served in Vietnam. That war, it was said that that war had the most tragedies, the most deaths than any other war. And when we went to war through the Gulf War, we changed all of that. That is entrepreneurship. That was drone technology, stealth technology, smart bombs. It was an evolution of the United States Air Force. What members of the military must understand that they are getting the training that prepares them to be the best entrepreneurs in the world through discipline, through mission focus. Don't get lazy. Whenever you're in the military, you focus on the mission first. When you get your own business, focus on the mission first. It doesn't mean you don't work with your family and your friends and everybody else, but keep the same mindset from the military. That's the advice I give to people.
Great, 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 great. So, Shondell, talk to us about, I remember in a conversation we had, you spoke about building a culture and people's experiences with your business. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, after spending a decade in the military, I went and worked in gaming and hospitality as a marketing director for the largest locals gaming company in the world. And one of the things that we talked about is the mentality and the experience. And let me just break it down this way so that everybody understands in layman's terms. The experience is all about the psychographics, the needs, wants, and desires of the customer, the consumer. The consumer, you have to hit them where they feel great, right? Maya Angelou talked about the fact that people don't remember what you say or do, but they remember how they feel. And marketing and branding is about feelings and emotions more than people give it credit. And so what we thought about was the fact that in the locals gaming market, there's a different feeling than a tourist. A tourist wants to come to Las Vegas, have a great time, lose a lot of money, get drunk, do whatever, and then forget about where they came from and then go back home. The local person comes back again and again and again, and they want the same experience. So when you're talking about giving an experience, and I heard Ashley talk about this earlier when we were kind of in the green room space, is you're always looking at trying to make sure the experience is consistent and the experience is a great one every single time. It's disappointing when a person what I call is when a business is what I call a schizophrenic business. It's where every time you come in, something is different. You got to be consistent. You got to make sure people feel great. You have to make sure that you give them everything that they want, they need, and they desire. I always use those three words: is give them their needs, their wants, and their desires, and they'll be very, very excited about coming to your establishment.
Great, great. And it sounds like it's paying attention to your customer base as well. Would you agree with that, Shondell?
Absolutely.
Great. So,
Absolutely. And in order for you to pay attention, you have to listen.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So, you recently launched this program called Rebounding with Rebranding. Talk to us about that program.
Well, it was a combination. My daughter is the next generation of some new marketing. Some new comes from the concept of my dad always told us, if you don't like what's going on, do something new. That plays off of our last name of Newsom. So we changed it up the words and changed it up. So it's some new marketing. And what we decided, which what she was talking about is, how can we help people to understand how to reposition, as Sharon said earlier, how do we reposition? How do you rebound with rebranding? And so, what is things like now? Restaurants have to do things where they have to do more curbside, more takeout, and really retraining the mind of the customer, where the customer now understands that that's the new model that you're working through, whether it's through the next year, the next 18 months, the next 24 months. It's even my T-shirt company now doing PPE products, and they need to say, hey, we're doing this now. We're trying to help everybody stay healthy. You have to change the perception of what you're doing so that you can continue to get constant cash flow. The secret, I will say this, that branding, it will help you survive any branding and marketing will help you survive any type of pandemic, any type of storm. It is really a shield around your business, because if you have a lot of loyal customers and you stay in communication with them and you can tell them what you're doing now, they will always be with you. And then they will tell their friends, they will recommend your brand, and they will defend your brand. So that's why it's real important. And so what we're teaching people is that, how do you now tell people what you're doing, how you're doing it, how you're going to help them? It's not about you. It's not about just promoting your business. It's about how you're going to make an impact in their life.
Perfect. Great. Great. Thank you. So, we want to make sure that audience, that you can ask a question, put it in the chat. Our experts stand ready to respond. So we want those good questions. Bring them in, bring them in, bring them in. So let's pivot to Monica. Monica, as I indicated at the top of the conversation, she's the owner of a restaurant, and so as you can imagine, she's probably encountered some challenges with COVID, as many other small businesses have. So Monica, talk to us, as a brick and mortar business, what has been some of your challenges in staying in business amid this craziness, this pandemic?
Where to begin? My goodness. So nice to see everyone. I appreciated the comments from Sharon and Chandel. I resonate with those, specifically when you're talking about what is your brand, what are you trying to express to your community of customers. And for me, when I established Bread and Butter Kitchen, it was really, I started at the farmer's market using local ingredients, had a great opportunity to really engage with customers one-on-one and really get to understand what their needs were, what they were looking for in the marketplace. So when I transitioned to brick and mortar, I took over a restaurant that was already there. Before I changed anything on the menu, I ate my way through it to see what was good and what was bad, and also to allow me to get to know what my customers were ordering, what they enjoyed, what they didn't. And it was at that point that I started to make changes to the restaurant itself, um, as far as the decor to reflect who I was, the menu to reflect who I was and what I wanted, and um, to Shondel's point, consistency became really critical. The restaurant that was in the space before me had a reputation of not really being open on regular hours, not really having all of the things on the menu in stock. And so driving consistency into my restaurant was really critical. We put the hours on the door, so there's no getting out of that now. We're open 7:30 to 3, period. Um, the menu itself, making sure that we were using high quality local ingredients, that everything was available no matter when people came in. And so, prior to COVID, I've been there for 3 years in the brick and mortar space now. We've established ourselves as a community restaurant, local restaurant, but visitors find us quite often as well because we're right on the water in Annapolis. So tourists and visitors to the city and the state that are coming through find us on Yelp, etc. And what we've been able to establish really is that consistency has really paid off for us. Our reputation is that we have quality food, incredibly friendly staff, and that we will go above and beyond to make you feel happy. And good filled bellies are important to us. Fast forward to COVID. Uh, One of the major things that's happened for not just restaurants, but I think all businesses in general, is the importance of safety and making your customers feel safe. So we've gone, one of the first things we did in the beginning was transition to carry out and delivery only. And I had already established an online ordering app, so I was a little bit further ahead than a lot of my restaurant friends who did not necessarily have as much carry out as we did. So we were we were in a good position to handle the transition to carry out and delivery only. Eventually, outside dining became a little bit more comfortable, and so we were able to take advantage of that as well. I will say in the beginning, with the fear, it wasn't just the fear for my customers, it was the fear of my employees. And so being able to address that with my employees, make sure that they felt so safe, that translates then to how they're interacting with the customers. So if my employees feel safe to come to work, then my customers are going to feel safe. We did things like, I can't tell you how many sanitizing pump things we have glued to the walls inside and outside the restaurant. Installed a step thing on the door so people can use their foot to open the door instead of their hands. And so we've taken all of those steps. Another thing, because our branding, Bread and Butter Kitchen, is really focused on community, one of the things we did right out of the gate is started offering free toilet paper and free paper towels. So if you came to the restaurant or if you got a carry out, you could grab a roll. And that was really important for the first few months. As we all remember, you couldn't get toilet paper or paper towels, but I could get it through my vendors. And we saw a lot of restaurants in the area pivoting as well to being grocery stores. So because we could order food from our vendors for the restaurant, we were able to then offer eggs, butter, milk, meat, whatever you needed as well. And so I saw a lot of restaurants in our community. I did not do that, but a lot of restaurants in the community did that as well. We were also very lucky. Our city in Annapolis established recovery zones for COVID. My restaurant falls within one of those recovery zones. And what that's been able to do for us is allow us to add additional outside seating and give us a permit to take over certain parking spots right on the water, which again, that extended once people felt safe to come back out and eat outside. Now we have additional seating outside and people seem to really enjoy that. So for me, really, it's been about listening to what the customers want from the day I open the door, and also what my employees want. Because if your employees feel confident, if they believe in your brand, they're going to share that as well with the customers. And that we have 5-star reviews, and it's specifically because of that, because my customers own my brand as much as I do. And I think that's a really important and critical thing to do, is to make sure your employees reflect you as well. If that makes sense.
So, Monica, I'm curious, we're talking about branding. How
Mm-hmm.
long did it take you when you took over this restaurant um, to really kind of rebrand yourself, because you wanted to be a establishment where people could get what you said you were going to offer, as
Right.
opposed to your predecessor.
Right.
So, how did you do
Yeah.
that?
So it took a little bit of time. I luckily, from starting at the farmers market, I had a bit of a following on social media. So when I opened the restaurant, I made a somewhat of a critical error and announced, "We're here," like before I even opened the door. So the restaurant owner before me, it was called the Harbor Cafe. He handed the keys over on Sunday, and I opened on Monday as
Wow.
Bread and Butter Kitchen. And I hadn't changed the menu. But I let everybody know we were going to be there. So it struck me on Saturday that I better do something big because people were going to come. and they were excited. So I went into the restaurant Sunday night and got everything prepared to have a special menu that included like 3 or 4 different dishes that I was proud of. Mind you, none of my employees knew how to make these dishes. So it was going to be an interesting Monday, to say the least. Um, but from that like little fumble up front, we were able to kind of get to know the customers, as I mentioned, and really start to establish ourselves. It probably took at least maybe even a year to really start to get, um, I would say, repeat business, word of mouth starting to spread. We were written up in the local paper. We were identified and given an award for Best Kept Secret, which was awesome in our first year. It couldn't have been a better titled award, Best Kept Secret, because it created some sense of intrigue, and more customers started coming out, more regulars in the local area, whether they worked there or lived in the neighborhood near us. But honestly, it's the last 18 months or so I've been there for 3 years, where the number of reviews we have online have really driven additional business our way. And so it took some time to really establish that brand and get to the point. But now people, if you read our reviews, they're excited. They're saying all the things that we wanted them to think about us, which is great. And again, for me, that's just the consistency and the transparency, whether I'm online, doing a go live on social media, or sharing pictures of our food, or introducing people to the farmers that we work with. It's that transparency and that genuine personality that comes across, not just from me, but from my employees as well.
Great. And it sounds like, your clients, customers really developed a degree of confidence
Hmm.
in your business, that in fact that they were going to get what you said you were going to deliver, which is a part of
Yes,
your brand. I mean,
it is.
you know, and so, I mean, hopefully we can talk a little bit about that, later on.
Hmm.
So, Sharon, we talk about brand positioning.
Hmm.
And I would imagine that's really important, particularly now, and as Monica has really seen in it herself and their brand and what they deliver and their consistency and their confidence. Um, so businesses who are really trying to do that while they're competing, how do they do that? And talk to us why that's really, really important.
So the first thing uh, businesses should do is that you should not have a mindset of scarcity, in that you cannot present all that you have with this one kind of thing, right? So, like Monica mentioned, by the way, Monica, I will see you this weekend. By the way, we'll be at the restaurant because I love Annapolis and we needed to find more food. So, thank you. But people need to know what she's a perfect example of what she delivers, and that's for the community. She doesn't move out of that, and she's not scared to not move. I mean, if you had to move out of that, you will, but you realize that you're in Annapolis, you're local, and that the people around you are going to be your repeat customers. Oftentimes, businesses will go into this scarcity of mindset and want to offer everything all at one time.
Mhm.
Stop. Don't. Customers come in through one door, and so you want to position yourself where you want to position yourself in a place that people will resonate with you. Your specific customer will come to you based on what you have. You don't have to be all things. I always ask my clients to start out with this: what's your competitive difference in a word? If you were in your biggest client's presence and they said, "Hey, why should we choose you?" using one word, you should be able to communicate that. If that was asked of me, I would say because I'm simplified. Period. That's what I sell. I sell simplicity in marketing, nothing more. How I do it, I have tons of stuff. But you have to uh, um, settle your brand in a place where you believe it, and it's not such this kind of, it's big. Small can be big. You
Mm,
can have a
mm,
one singular is big, one is enough sometimes.
mhm,
One, right? One, you don't have to have 10 different gimmicks. That's all going to be in the how you show up, right? We have to pivot. So it is going to be dynamic in that it changes, but your brand, your positioning, people are going to remember, like Shondell said, they'll remember how you made them feel. So make them feel. This is we're right. We're in a pandemic. Make them resonate, whether that's happiness or they can really understand. There's empathy, whatever that particular characteristic is. People are into. They know, like, and trust you. And part of that know, like, and trust you process is that they really have to feel what you are presenting in your brand. I hope that wasn't too much. I feel like I was kind of like,
No, not at all, not at all, not at all. And we want to make sure that, at the conclusion of this, that people walk away with those nuggets that they need to continue on, because we know that small businesses have really been impacted. And, we want them to stay in business. They're the backbone of our economy.
absolutely.
And it's important that we offer information and education to help sustain our small businesses. And that's why we're here. So, Shondell, you mentioned earlier about boots to business. And I suspect that some of that training is continuing. Talk to us about, in that program curriculum, has the message about branding changed at all in the midst of this pandemic? We can't hear you, Shondell.
Hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Let me mute this one. So the message. Uh-oh, I got a feedback. I'm sorry. Got both. Can you hear? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yep. We got you.
Okay. Got that feedback.
So, are you getting that straight, Shondell? We're gonna go to we're gonna pivot back to Monica. So Monica, you took over business. You started business. In what, 48 hours. And so what advice,
Why not?
technically,
Whatever.
what advice would you give our audience around, you know, taking on something like this? We're in the midst of this pandemic. We still believe that starting a business is possible. I know
Yep.
that sounds crazy, but it's possible. You just need to know if your product or service is something that's needed now.
Hmm.
And then if you can build on that product offering later, that's the key. Um, what advice would you give, some of our audience here that may be kind of struggling, and
Yeah.
like, we're trying to figure this all out.
Yeah, it can be scary. I think I tried to start my business 7 years ago, right? Like I kept um, really trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something with food, and I kept getting discouraged, whether it was walking into the health department to ask, what are the rules for opening a food business? And you get a different answer every time, and it feels very overwhelming, and the obstacles seem insurmountable. But the thing is, when you really believe in yourself and you really are ready, nothing's going to stand in your way. You're going to knock those obstacles down one by one. And so have faith in yourself, have faith in your idea. I think that there is opportunity right now. In fact, instead of opening a second location, which seems kind of scary for me right now, we've decided to pivot and open um, uh, uh, Provisions by Bread and Better Kitchen, which is going to be an online retail where we're going to sell the sausages that we make, the soups, the salad dressings online and wholesale to other restaurants as well. So instead of, we just pivoted, right? Instead of,
Mm,
okay, maybe I open another location, we're going to take what we already know and do well and expand in that direction, expand up instead of out. And so I just met with a woman the other day who, right as COVID started, she opened a little convenience store and restaurant. And what was interesting to me is as I walked in there, she's really struggling, right? She's struggling because the location she chose is next to a courthouse and a college. Guess what? No one's there. Everyone's working from home. And so she's trying to figure out how does she establish herself. And I look at her menu, and it's salads and sandwiches. There's nothing really special there. But she's from Nepal, and she makes this really amazing Nepalese food that is unbelievable. What does she do after 5 minutes of talking? We completely redid her menu. And so again, it's really tapping into what makes you unique, what you have to offer, and listen to Sharon and Shondell, because they're going to tell you how to use your marketing and branding to really get that message out there. I think being transparent and being yourself, whoever that is really critical. And if I can just for a second chat a little bit about some of the unrest in the country, right? So as the protests across the country started, I joined those protests. Our Annapolis community was out in the streets as well. And so for me, it's really important that all of my customers feel comfortable at my restaurants. We put the Black Lives Matter signs up. We have all of the LBQT, flags up. We are as open and welcome as we can. And many people who own businesses were shocked that we did that. And I got recommendation, you should take that down. You don't want to kind of alienate people. I'm like, well, actually, the people that would be alienated by that are the people I don't want to be at my restaurant. So I'm cool with that. But taking that stand, actually, our business tripled over the next 6 to 8 weeks after I put those signs up. And we started that conversation not only online with my community, whether it was through Go Lives or social media posts. I think that if you're authentic and you're yourself, and that's reflected in your brand and your branding and your business, it will come back tenfold to you. So just stay the course, be yourself. Don't try to fit and be like other restaurants or other businesses or other contracting. Do what you know, do what is authentic to you, and lean into that, and don't apologize for it. Just get out there, be yourself, and that's the message. That's what people respect and appreciate. Even in my years of technology, doing government contracting, all of that is really important to come through with your proposals and your interactions with other customers.
Great, great. So before I ask Sharon a question, we have a question from our community. And from a business owner's perspective, expert perspective, talk to us about listening to your community. Sharon, talk to us about that.
So if you are on any of my pages, mine is probably LinkedIn, my social media pages, I actually talk about my health journey, my wellness journey. So I'm exercising. I was diagnosed with diabetes, and so I wanted to plug that in because not only we're dealing with, like you said, civil unrest, but we're also at home a lot of times dealing with internal issues like depression and uncertainty and anxiety. So what I think is best for my community, when I start to show that, okay, well, here's the things, in addition to me building my business and keeping the business going, I'm still a person, right? And my community leaned into that. Like, we want to see more of that, like more exercise. Like, I'm inspired by doing this. So, Monica, you are spot on. Like, people, don't be ashamed. Right now, the world, not just this country, the world is kind of focusing on the realness of people and how they show up in an integral space. So your special piece of it could be that you are providing not only professional information about your business and services, but you're actually showing a personal side to it. And that will actually build your connection even stronger, specifically what's going on in the marketplace. So I would say, listen, my community, it's the reason why I show all of my workouts every day. Otherwise, I would be like, oh, wait a minute, okay. Even the ones that aren't so, it's not so great, right? I showed them all so that they can see progression and see a person kind of really moving in this for real and not pretending.
Great. And so, Sharon, I like that. And so, I think about, businesses that are showing their progression opening, and and Monica can step in and chime in on this, how they're showing the progression of, this is where we were and this is what it
Right.
looked like, and this is the mid, this is our midpoint, and this is what it looked like, and because of your support, community,
Hmm.
we are here. Look what we have.
Yes. Yes.
And so, Monica, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced some of that,
Yeah.
given that you went from people who were not feeling like this restaurant can give us what they said they would deliver.
Right. Right. Yeah. So one of the things when COVID hit, that I mean, there were definitely tears on my end. Right. March was not fun. April was not great. There were moments where I definitely looked at my husband and I was like, well, that was fun owning a restaurant. And now what? Right? Because I wasn't sure. And, there are ups and down days all the time, that any business owner is going to come across. Trust me, there have been moments at the restaurant where I'm crawling on my hands and knees. I've never spent more time crawling on my knees than since I opened a restaurant trying to fix things. So, anyways, one of the things that we did that I think was really helpful for me and for the community as a whole was we established Feed Anne Arundel at the beginning of the pandemic. And the reason I bring that up, it's Feed Anne Arundel. We recognized pretty early on that restaurants were closing because of mandates from the government, which was great. We needed that to happen. A lot of things needed to shut down and slow down so that we could get the pandemic under control. And so one of the things we did to pivot at that point was to launch Feed Anne Arundel. So we have about 35 different restaurants now that work with us, started raising money through a nonprofit, Cal Ripken Senior Foundation manages our money for us. And essentially what we've done is we've raised money and we paid restaurants to prepare food to distribute to the community at food distribution. So this gave us three wins, right? We're keeping restaurants afloat, we're keeping people working, and we're feeding our community. And what came from that, obviously, is the reflection in the community. The community was so excited. That helped those restaurants that were involved, brought more people in because they were so excited to support restaurants that were doing something in the community. Not only that, but for me, and we were talking about this in the green room before, that collaboration with all of those other businesses has been incredibly powerful. We have like a group chat on WhatsApp where we're all like, hey, where did you find your umbrellas? Because of course, every restaurant in the entire world is suddenly in need of outdoor seating. So getting umbrellas and tables was like really challenging in the beginning. So having people to collaborate with, challenges with the health department, rules changing, being able to really work with other people. And these theoretical competitors of mine have become fast friends. And really, we lift each other up. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind is your business community and people that you can partner with as well.
Perfect. So, Sharon, would you agree that, her social mission aspect of her business is become now a part of her brand, which really a lot of people latch on to?
It's her brand, period. But it's been that way since day one. It sounds like it, Monica, right? That she was all about community. I mean, we're talking farmers
Yeah.
market to now brick and mortar. That if that doesn't say community, like I resonate with that. Like a small business that's
Yeah.
in within my community, that puts out product that is quality. Oh, yeah, like when I go, I saw the pictures from the restaurant. I peeped. I was like, I'm there. I'm a foodie. So yes,
Yeah.
I and I and it doesn't have to be. So I think sometimes other businesses look at like restaurants that have products and things like that, or service-based businesses can't produce like that. When in fact you can. You can draw into your brand community-centered things. Monica mentioned that she's working to help other restaurants. I, on the other end, took another I took another pivot for my own brand to show that I wanted to actually brand the Black professional man. So I was seeing that there were a lot of negative images, and I'm a marketer, I do visual things. So I saw a lot of negative images in the community. And so I just spotlighted 105 men around the world that I know, that I was very close to just provide kind of that branding piece of what this looks like. Here's some positivity. And again, from my community, that got like really, high praises. I got followers, but more importantly, people trust what I have to say. So now I can show up in my business. It's not uncommon for you to see me in workout gear, and then the following post you see me presenting for AARP. And you don't feel a way about it. We're not in that space where we have to be. The driving home theme for me is that I also care about the community, but it's simplified. It's showing what good branding can look like from a company in all different types of facets. So I think Monica's doing a great example of having that social community element to it, because the marketplace wants it. It wants it. It
Great.
requires it.
And the thing about COVID, Felicia, that I think is a blessing to all businesses is it's allowed us to kind of relax a little bit, right?
Yeah.
You're doing Zoom calls with dogs barking in the background, kids yelling. I mean, it's a situation. So I think people are taking themselves a little less seriously, and that's really important. That's really important. My husband works for the government. He's a government contractor, and everything is different, right? He goes in every other week. Everything has changed, and so keep that in mind, that you're not the only one, right, that's surviving this chaos. Share your story as you're talking to people, talking to potential customers. They're gonna find, they're gonna connect with you, because we're all going through the same crazy mess, whatever this is. I don't even know how to define it anymore.
And Felicia, can I add to that, please?
Sure. We have, you
You
know
know,
what?
one of
I
the
want you
great
to,
things. Can you hear me?
yes.
One of the great things about being in the military is that change happens every single day based on what's going on in the world. And so veterans have to really, really understand that is the norm for us. The ever evolving, innovation, changing. Something can happen in Saudi Arabia tomorrow, and we gotta really respond to all that. So we should be very much used to that. And one of the things I want to say about branding, and I gave Monica this praise because she is amazing. I mean, I'm just hearing her. I can only imagine when I'm in Annapolis, because I get there often. I am going to definitely be there to look you up and be there, because you know what? She made me feel special already. And the reason she did that is because there's the A I talk about. There's authenticity, there's being the best you, and then there's consistency. Keep it that simple. And because a lot of people try to make branding so complicated, and they, just like Sharon said, they pay more attention to the colors and the fonts and all of that stuff. That's all cool, but the real deal is, how does your brand make people feel? And I tell small business owners, your brand is going to be exposed one way or the other. It's going to be exposed for the greater good or the greater bad, and you better figure out how it serves somebody else besides you. So that's what's important.
So this has been great. I mean, we're at the top of our top of the hour, and I've learned a lot. I hope our audience has learned a lot. And I think there's some nuggets that all of us can take away, that was be consistent. Um, perhaps have a social mission with your brand. Understand your brand so others can understand your brand. And be the brand that you are. And so I like I said, I've learned a lot. And if you want more information about IVMF and AARP, just go to ivmf.syracuse.edu, or you can go to aarp.org/start a business. And if you want some additional information please reach out to us. And I want our presenters to put their information in the chat box so people can contact you, reach out to you, visit your restaurant, learn more about branding and what you do. And so we invite you back. We have not finished this conversation. Our next webinar is October 22nd, same time, same place. We're going to be talking about securing government contracts. You can register at the IVMF Syracuse.edu website. And a huge, huge, huge thank you to our experts for extending themselves, their knowledge, their expertise, and their energy today. I love it. And so, on behalf of AARP and IVMF, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we hope to see you back here again.